Feel the lats stretch. Retract those shoulder blades and really squeeze those lats here, and then pull back as far as you can pull back. Hey man, Gary Walker here, and welcome back for another video. All right, this video is all about your back, man. I'm gonna give you my 4 favorite exercises to build a bigger back. Here's the thing, without heavy weight. So yes, you can use a lighter weight when you're doing these. The key with this though is focusing on that mind-muscle connection. You don't want to just go through the movements and you don't want to use momentum or any kind of cheating. You really want to control the weight, get nice full stretches of the lats, hard contractions at the bottom, all right? So the first exercise we're going to go with is a close grip, and the reason I like close grip, we're going to do a lat pull down, but the close grip variation is safer for the elbows and the shoulders. All right, so if you don't have access to a close grip, you can still do the overhanded grip, but the thing I want you to focus on is rotating. You want to mentally rotate your elbows forward. That's going to create a little bit of external rotation of the humerus. So that'll make a big difference. But obviously, if you have any type of neutral grip hand position, I'm going to recommend that every time over the overhand grip position. So the key things here when you're focusing on back. Back is one of those muscle groups that a lot of people can't really feel when they're working it. So one of the things I really want you to focus on, and I'm going to do these one at a time just to really show you what I'm talking about. Nice full stretch here, all right? Right now I can feel my lats on both sides getting a really good deep stretch. And from this first position, I want you to bring that shoulder blade down. You'll see that from up here, it's bringing that down. And then you want to maintain that position. Keep your core tight and then drive the weight down. Focus on pulling with the elbows. Nice, right there. Nice and slow. So at the bottom, hold for a good two seconds. 1001, 1002. Then bring it back to the top, nice and under control. Nice, slow and under control. Full stretch. Again, reset. And then pull down. So here's the thing, I want to show you what people usually do. You'll see a lot of people in this position, a couple things that they're doing wrong. When they're coming down, you'll notice a lot of times they come all the way back and they're bending this way. By doing that, you're turning this more into a horizontal movement. All right, this is meant to be a vertical movement. So you're coming from the top, coming down to the bottom. Whereas if you're bringing your body back, now we're pulling in a horizontal plane. And that's just typically doing a different type of row variation instead of a lat pull down variation. All right, so that's what I want you to focus on. And when I say pulling with the elbows, I'll show you what I mean. Just imagine you've got a string here and someone is pulling that string down for you. All right, the reason I say that because a lot of people they'll really crush the handles and then they'll start curling the weight down. If you're curling the weight, the two things that are gonna give out first are gonna be your forearms and then your biceps. Because the lat is a bigger muscle. The lat's a whole lot bigger muscle than your biceps and your forearms. So typically that's one of the biggest mistakes people do. They go really heavy, they limit the range of motion by doing that, or they're heavy and then they're using a lot of momentum to pull the weight down. Whereas you want to make sure that you're using a light enough weight that you can control the weight with the lats. Control it with the lats, and I'm going to show you one more time what this looks like with both. Nice stretch, pull down. 1001, 1002, slowly raise. 1001, 1002. And really focus on those lats right here. Really squeeze those lats hard at the bottom. So this is the tempo you should be lifting with. If you do this, it's not going to take near as much weight as it would if you start using momentum and leaning and cheating and doing all those things. All right, so that's my number 1 exercise for the lats from the vertical position. Now we will move into a horizontal type row, and for that I like doing the cable rows. Thing I like about cables, I love doing cable work with every body part because it allows for continuous tension. So when you're using dumbbells, there's a lot of times if you're not doing them correctly, you tend to lose tension in the movement, tension in the muscle. Whereas if you're doing a cable system, then you're always gonna have that tension. With this, I actually like using a dual handle. So 2 different handles you'll notice is gonna be my preferred method of doing a low cable row. There's a lot of other fixed handles. You probably see these, most gyms have these. You can use this as well, all right? So that's a good one. I don't really like the overhand grip on a straight bar. You'll see people do straight bars here doing an overhand grip. If you have a straight bar, I would rather you do a reverse grip when you're pulling, all right? So I like that version better. But obviously, if you have access to dual handles, 2 handles, I would rather you use that. So a couple key things here. I like to start upright, keep my core tight, then I'll actually get a slight lean forward to really stretch those lats. All right, from this position, again, keeping your core tight, and you wanna make sure you're keeping it in a fixed position. What I mean by that is when you're pulling back, you wanna maintain that position. Bring those lats forward, retract, pull, just like that. The reason I'm saying you're keeping that in a fixed position, I'll see a lot of people, once they start pulling, they're leaning with it at the same time. This is shortening the range of motion, all right? It's using momentum. So you'll see people do this whole movement, coming back, squeezing, just like that. I want you to maintain that fixed position, especially because we are using lighter weights. So you really want to engage that mind-muscle connection. Really focus again, feel the lats stretch, retract those shoulder blades and really squeeze those lats here, and then pull back as far as you can pull back. Again, hold this for a couple seconds. Really focus on controlling those contractions at the back. Pull, 1001, 1002, just like that. Very good cadence. Yeah, anytime, again, you're using lighter weight, the goal with that is always gonna be focusing more on the mind-muscle connection and less on the weight and the actual movement. It's not about getting from point A to point B. It's about stretching and shortening, which is contracting at the back. You're stretching the lats, slowly shortening the lats. All right, so that's the key to doing a back movement with the cables. And you notice that tension is constantly on those lats. So if you're doing these correctly, you will start feeling your lats fill up with blood and lactic acid. So they should be burning. Here's the other thing similar to the other exercise I just showed you. If your forearms are burning out, if your biceps are burning out, yet you're feeling very little in your lats, lighten the weight for one. First thing, lighten the weight, and then really picture your elbows pulling. Again, when you're working your back, that should be the goal. Your elbows are leading the movement. You're stretching and you're initiating the pull with the elbows. That's gonna take a lot of that emphasis from the forearms and the biceps and place it on the lats, all right? So that's exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, dumbbell pullovers. Dumbbell pullovers, all-time favorite exercise, and it doesn't require much weight at all. That's the good thing about this. So you don't need a lot of weight to do these pullovers, but this allows you to get that full stretch. All right, so this is gonna be a huge stretch here. So basically what you wanna do, keep this dumbbell overhead, keep your core tight, locked in, and then you're just gonna lower the weight. Nice big stretch at the bottom of the movement, and then bring it back up. I like to flare my elbows out slightly, all right? From here, elbows are out as opposed to being straight in. All right, you'll see people doing this exercise for more chest emphasis. If you're getting those elbows in close and you're keeping them close to your body like this is actually gonna help hit those lower pecs, your chest, but it's gonna limit the emphasis on the lats. To really focus on the lats, I like to flare elbows out, keep them nice and wide. Again, nice big stretch in the lats, really feel that stretch, and then pull back up. And you wanna be, again, right over your head. You don't wanna go all the way in front over your chest like this when you're coming back up, because again, that's gonna take some of the tension off of your lats. I like to keep it back here right over my head. Let me show you a couple more of these. Stretch, over, stretch, over. All right, so this is, again, one of my favorite exercises to really stretch those lats. All right, the last one I'm gonna show you, I'll keep this light dumbbell here. It's a dumbbell row, but it's a dumbbell row pause. All right, basically what that means is you're gonna get in the shortened position, the contracted position at the top of the movement, and you're gonna hold that for 3 full seconds when you're doing this dumbbell row. If you have low back issues, all right, you can do a chest supported. So you can get on an incline bench, place your chest here, lean forward and do a chest supported row, all right? Or you can just find something to hold on to like this, and you can support yourself that way as opposed to just doing a bent over row with no support. All right, so you can do this. Here's basically what you're gonna wanna do. I like to keep my shoulders square. The reason I say that is you'll see people starting this position and they're coming all the way down and they're rotating at the waist just like that. I want you to get shoulder square and keep that fixed position. All right, once you're in that fixed position, you're only stretching at the lats. From the lats, you're stretching and then you're pulling back, 1001, 1002, 1003. Nice and slow, good stretch. 1001, 1002, 1003. Those are the pauses, 3-second pauses at the top. 1001, 1002, 1003. When you're in that pause position, really focus on that lat muscle. All right, you're wanting to get it back as far as you can. And again, initiate the movement with the elbows. All right, so here, elbows, back, squeeze, 1001, 1002, 1003. And you'll just switch sides and do the other side. But this is one of my favorite because I love any type of dumbbell row. But you see most people doing dumbbell rows with really heavy weight. And a lot of times when you use that heavy weight, you don't really have a good mind-muscle connection to that lat muscle. You're just kind of going through the motions, going through that movement. All right, using momentum, not really focusing on the actual lat itself. That tends to be when your forearms give out, your biceps give out, and you spend the next couple days wondering, I don't even feel my lats. Did I work them very well? Probably not. All right, so it's a lot better to lighten the load, so less weight, mind-muscle connection, focusing on the full stretch every time in the full shortening position, full contraction with each and every rep that you do, and then control the cadence. You notice I went nice and slow through all of these, and then I try to maintain that peaked contraction for at least 2 seconds on the other exercises, and on the paused dumbbell rows, a full 3 seconds. So do that, and your lats are gonna grow, and you're gonna actually be able to feel them this time. Let me know if you have any questions in the comment section. Other than that, get busy, get after it, and God bless.